before, we had
think there's a
Senator
couple.
We had
complaint
something, I don't know what it was.
concerned, yeah.
Where's he from?
Oh, Katner, so I'm gonna go with Nesquehoning or Sun Hill. They call it Katner's Mountain. Why does he hunt up there? It's probably his family.
Exactly.
What's his first name?
David?
Mark's off.
Yeah, Mark's off, I
Yeah,
think.
he's at his conference.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, and we'll call the meeting of the inspectors of the Carver County Jail to order, November 16th, 2022, and it's 1:30. We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mike, I don't know if you wanna hold off a second,
Caleb,
till they go live.
We do have a tape recorder, right? Yeah. All right, well, let me just do this. These meetings are being recorded for the sole purpose of constituting the accuracy of written minutes. Tapes are reused, eliminating recorded records of these proceedings. I note for the record that our solicitor is not here, but he's excused as he has a prior court commitment. And Mark Spirachek isn't here as well, he's excused. Obviously, the warden is not here. He's excused.
You didn't get a call, so that's probably good.
You have the number for Caleb?
Oh, you mean
The
extension?
extension, is that?
IT. Yeah, his change probably, did he take?
Yeah, I'd call Nick. I'll call
Yeah,
him.
33.
This is Nick.
Hey, Nick, it's Wayne calling. Do you wanna have Caleb or yourself start the, Zoom meeting for the prison board?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not streaming, Nick.
Started.
Yeah, it
All
says
right.
meeting will begin. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're live. There's
Oh,
something
what you-
wrong with that.
Is something wrong with this one?
Yeah.
No.
But you're like, it's good to go.
So we're streaming,
Yeah.
but it's just this
Oh,
camera.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's,
All right, we just have the meeting thing.
yeah, we did have a problem with us.
Yeah.
All right, are there any guests present? There being no guests, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes of the meeting held October 19th, 2022. That was a regular meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Rocky. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Reports of any executive session. I think we announced the purpose of our executive session last time when we came back into the meeting, so there's no report of any executive sessions held. Reports of committees, maintenance report.
Sykes Brother was in for their monthly service. We had radio communications in, they replaced the transformer for our radio system. A&W Plumbing was in, they had to jet one of the drains in the kitchen. Train was in to repair one of the rooftop units. The circuit board went, and then once the circuit board was replaced, you realized the gas valve also had gone. Luckily, I had a gas valve in stock at the prison. Mulligan Glass was in, they replaced glass and 2 booking doors. We had temporary pieces in, so now I have those 2 in stock, so if something happens, I can at least put a temporary piece in until we can get another one. A&W was in, we had a leak in the hot water line. John Alvarez was in, and he replaced pump number 2 in the pump house. So currently we have all 3 pumps up and running. Allstate was in for their quarterly pumping of the grease pit, and Train was just in for rooftop unit number 3 for just wasn't keeping up with the heat. The only other thing is, I know in safety you brought up about coning off or doing something to keep people from parking at the top. So we put cones up there a couple weeks ago, and we just increased the amount of cones up there just because they've seen people get out, like before we did it with a crossbow and then headed like down towards the dog shelter in the prison to go hunting, so.
Okay. And how many do you have out there?
At least 7 or 8 cones.
Is that right at that flat area up the
Yes.
top there? Right after you come in from the turnout?
Yes.
We do have signs saying that it's private property.
As soon as you, right where the road turns in, there's a sign right there saying, no unauthorized vehicles.
Okay.
And I think we're gonna put a couple more there.
Rocks or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Anybody have any questions on the maintenance report? And we'll move to the work release report.
Good afternoon, everyone. Submitted to the board is the monthly work release report. There were a total of 9 individuals on the work release program, with currently there being 7. Submitted are the revenue totals, and also submitted is the in-house program, total of 21 on that program, and their payouts were listed as well.
Anybody have any questions for the work release coordinator? Anybody have anything else under this before I move on? All right, we'll move away from the work release report and plan of action committee.
So I have several updates this month for the Plan of Action Committee. First off, I guess it's part of the Plan of Action Committee, but I know Derek sent out the job fair posting. So I have that, excellent job with that, and kudos to HR for their help. As I mentioned to Derek and the warden, I'll make the command staff of the sheriff's office available to assist for interviews or background checks, whatever you need, just let us know. And we'll assist with that. I did receive, which I will forward to Ellie, 2 contracts from Johnson Controls regarding the camera system. So we were waiting on some time for those. Really, the holdup was that this is a unique situation for them because we were asking them to provide maintenance on a system that is not theirs. So they were trying to price that and figure out how to get that to work. So they provided 2 separate contracts. The first one is to convert the software that is implemented from the other provider to the exact ExAQ, I think it is, that the county uses for all of our other Johnson Control stuff. So that's one portion of the contract, and then the second portion is the maintenance agreement, which includes what I could find in here, 1 full inspection of the existing system to make sure everything works. There are Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, customer service and labor included in that maintenance agreement. So apparently they're saying that after two years, the software may need upgrades, so we should think about that. And then with most of these maintenance agreements, there is a slight increase every year going forward. So it seems to me that would meet our needs there. I'm not sure what the prison budgeted for, but in talking with Rodney the other day, there's still camera issues there currently, and Rodney's made numerous calls, as have the deputy warden and warden in the past, to the current provider, and he just refuses to call back. So I think what we've received from Johnson Controls allows the commissioners to make a decision on how you want to proceed forward with this. It does not include the replacement of the cameras, which is good because those are from 2019.
Correct.
Which I think, so this is really just updating and upgrading the software to Johnson Controls and then the maintenance of that system going forward.
The other cameras, are they under Keystone?
I'm not sure who your provider is.
It's different, it's RW Communications.
RW.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, I think it's RW Communications.
That's just real quick, as Mike's asking me, for the software upgrade, $7,640, and the maintenance agreement, $14,450. So I can provide them to Ellie. I know Ellie likes to look at all those first and then just make sure everything is up to par. So if it's okay with the board, I'll provide those to Ellie and then whatever discussions you need to have going forward. Okay, the next issue, we did have an opportunity, the district attorney, myself, warden and deputy warden met with GTL regarding the tablets, and then what we were able to put on there to assist with visitation and communication. Do you want to touch on that a little bit there, what we decided?
Yeah,
last time?
we're still working with GTL as far as like, what will be available on the tablets as far as apps and programs and things like that. One of the big concerns we had was how we can use them as far as communication with the courts, attorneys, more beneficial ways to utilize them instead of just games and music and videos and things like that. They do require a certain level of those things because that's where a lot of their funding comes from. You pay to buy a game, you pay to watch a video, things like that. But we also are looking at the more functionality part of it. So we're still working with them on that, trying to iron out the details. We're kind of on the same page, like if we're gonna do it, we wanna do it right. So we're not rushing it, we're making sure we have everything worked out.
It would take the place of the Polycom system that's there, that's utilized for the courts. But use of the tablets and a laptop in one of the attorney's rooms makes for the ability for at least, the inmates to contact their attorneys and have communications with their attorneys and possibly allow them to have contact with our office, because there are situations where we have times where the defendant may be unrepresented and will not do anything. They won't apply for a public defender, they won't get a continuance, make a continuance application. And so we've been in the process of sending letters. We don't necessarily go up and sit with the inmates in the prison. It's not really an ideal situation for assistant district attorneys to be in there like that. So if we can open more communications, we're able to solve some of the problems that we have when those things just sit there, because those cases will sit there until the court orders an individual to come to court, and then the judge will address them getting an attorney. It opens a lot more communication, so we're pretty happy with it until they work out what they want.
Yeah. There's a built-in law library too. I know, that was one of the judge's concerns. They do have like LexisNexis and all those programs on there that, right now we have one computer for a law library that can be used at a time. This way it would be several people to take advantage of. There's a lot of benefits.
I believe the warden has a big mandate to implement PREA. That is able to be on the tablet as an app as well. And the GTL was very accommodating and knowledgeable about meeting the needs that we had. So we'll just wait for the to make a final recommendation on, here's the applications we think we need to have on these tablets.
And then, we'll review those and everything, but I think the good with the bad, the good outweighs the bad in terms of, having tablets for inmates, giving inmates tablets. But it's not just that, a lot of functionality that eliminates a lot of issues that we've been having.
There is also not a cost to that, which I understand. So this ties in with the polycoms, where we have a proposal for 5 new polycom systems. We won't need that many if we go in this direction. So having 2 polycoms we think is appropriate, because the apps that will be on the tablet will reduce the need for the polycom. So not as much money will need to be spent on those polycom systems, which I believe the warden did include in his budget request for next year. So that will save some money in terms of that. The AED machines did come in for our county buildings. There were extra ones that we're going to be able to get to the prison. Right now, I think they have 1, and Prime Care has 1. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Derek, but it would be ideal to have 1 on every block if we can. But at least you can get probably 2 more, Rocky, I think, up there. So that will help, the safety. And we think one of those probably should go in the visitor area, the waiting area coming in, where there isn't one now. So nobody has to run onto a block and find one. So that will increase some safety there.
And I don't know when they're coming in, if it's gonna be
Right.
within next month, they should be.
Well, we have the extra ones that are in my office.
Yeah,
Right now.
they could use the extra one, but I even said too about it, like in the lobby, you have the public coming in, your guards might know how to use them, but the public coming in, that you never know if they'd have to use them. So the new one, I think, should go in the lobby. I mean, we have more new ones coming, but.
Next, last month, the beginning of this month, we conducted a tabletop exercise. Mark Melesnick put it together, entitled Mayhem on the Mountain. That was really an exercise for all external law enforcement. We had fire there, the district attorney, court administrator. I think it was a very productive exercise. And one of the takeaways after is the hot wash and the debrief, that we have about 20 items for us to follow up on. And I think it was pretty clear to the group that we got to put some effort and resources into coming up with an external response, so that if something were to happen, we know exactly what we're going to do. So I think we have some, we got some excellent takeaways. Representatives from the state police, the sheriff's office, the prison, Nesquehoning police. We had a good variety of people there. So this was conducted as part of the security committee that I chair. So it seemed like it was the suggestion of the group that tracking all of the next steps from the hot wash will go through the security committee, so that we can constantly stay on top of making sure we're moving forward to come up with a solid plan for this. There were some things that were already taken care of. Justin Markle from the 911 Center was able to do some things to assist the prison. So now, if there's a need, they go through the phone tree. Justin was able to put a group together in the 911 Center contact list, so text messages could be pushed out, similar to the Code Red system. So that will make it much easier going forward. He was able to do some of those things pretty quickly. So we're already checking some things off of there. I don't want to lose sight of it, because we did have an incident not too long ago where there were guys on medium block refusing to lock down. So this situation continues to be a possibility. So we'll continue to move forward with that. And then lastly, in talking with the warden and deputy warden, I was able to get the training center approved by the FBI to be a training site for the alert system, which is an active law enforcement response to active shooter situations. I think it's important that not only all local law enforcement officers have that training, but also the prison. Everybody would be trained on a common language, terminology, movements, responses, incident command. So all the chiefs, local chiefs throughout the county, we're gonna be participating in an instructor course in April. And then after we are certified with that, we will be able to train all local law enforcement throughout the county and make that mandatory for new officers coming in, so everybody has that. I think it's important that the prison is included in that as well. I'm also gonna make that offer to adult probation, so Derek's gonna give me some names for that training in April, so we'll get that kicked off. That's all I have.
Thank you, Dan. Anybody have any questions for the sheriff? We'll move on to the warden's report.
All right, for the month of October, we had a total of 69 male admissions, 25 female admissions. We had 75 male releases, 23 female releases. Our average population for the month was 154 inmates. As of October 31st, we had a total of 105 males in the jail, 32 females for 137 total. Total admissions for 2022 as of the end of October was 914 inmates. As far as transports go for the month of October, we had 20 in total, broken down there for you, and we had 19 days worth of hospital duties.
Anybody have any questions for the warden? We had a discussion, I'll take it here rather than put it up into new business, that I just spoke to Derek before we came in here. On situations, I don't think everybody's on the same board on the policy on admitting someone who has a medical condition, whether they're medically cleared. And we're trying to make sure that we come up with a standard on that with regard to a person who's obviously physically injured as a result of the arrest, bleeding, that sort of thing. They have to go get their treatment, but we're talking about some sort of medical conditions that may preclude them, at the magistrate level from, say, for example, somebody's involved in a domestic and they get up there and they say, hey, I just had surgery for my appendix, I can't go in, and it's possible that the constable then, that the magisterial justice may say that that's a medical condition that would preclude them from being at the prison, and sets a lower bail that they get out, and then they can go, we've had a situation where there may be somebody that has reoffended that we had to put back in. So we have to get ourselves into a policy that if there is a medical complaint, that the police are taking them right to a hospital to begin with, but if they're not, and they make that complaint there, or they do have a medical condition, that they remain there. It's not that they're refused to go up there until the medical unit checks them, clears them, and if it's a situation that they have a medical condition that we would not be able to provide that medical assistance, then we go from there, and our office is contacted. We either stipulate to reduce the bail or change the conditions to remove them from the facility. Just trying to get everybody online, because I think everybody has a different opinion of their medical condition that precludes them from being in there, being cleared.
Now, the prison does have some things that are pretty standard right now, right? So somebody comes up with an open gashing head wound, obviously the police should be taking them to the hospital and not gonna be admitted. The same thing with overdose victims. So it is required if they overdose and Narcan is administered, they need to be cleared at the hospital. So that was put out to all law enforcement because it created an issue where it was an overdose. There was no medical documentation stating that they were cleared for incarceration. So when the officer took them to the prison, they wouldn't accept them. Rightly so, Prime Care caught that and did their job. And it was just, the officer didn't have enough time, so my office got contacted. We had to implement our on-call to take them, get them cleared, and then bring them back. So there are some pretty clear things in place, but I don't think we considered these other ones that are coming up recently, which were brought to Mike and I's attention this week.
So we'll work on that.
Okay.
Get that, but I just wanna let you guys know where we stand with that, because it's not our intent to, to try to keep everybody there with medical. We don't want those medical calls that you're out on, that you have people stationed there, or the sheriff's office, or people that have a medical condition that shouldn't be in there. But by that same token, we have to not refuse people to go in on a broad definition of medical.
And what do you do now, like if they gotta stay in the hospital, there's gonna be somebody with them at all times?
That's what happens.
And what happens if they don't need 100% medical care and go home? What do you do with them then? Is that where ankle bracelets are coming in, or?
We
Or
have
what
the,
would you do?
we have the ability to utilize that.
Okay,
That's
I mean,
just
just-
another thing that's there on the bail that's set. May not be set that way at the magistrate, but if they have a defense attorney, they can petition the court for a bail modification that would include electronic monitoring at home.
Okay.
And we like to utilize that more, that's why Rick did that when he was here,
Yeah.
on getting more of those. So I don't know the status on what we have and how many people we
Yeah,
have
and I
out
think-
on that, but
Yeah.
I just had a DUI, a female that was in, and she had a medical condition, and she's there with electronic monitoring. She got cleared just to come to court that day.
Okay.
So we try to keep those numbers down that way. All right, and then I would entertain a motion to approve the warden's report.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Dan, second by Rocky. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We're gonna go into a brief executive session, at least I have one on a security issue. Alright, we were in executive session for a security and, personnel issue. We'll move on to personnel report. Anybody have any questions on the personnel report? I'll entertain a motion to accept the personnel report.
Motion.
Motion by Dan,
Second.
second by Rocky. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. And we go under, new business. Any new business? There being no new business, old business. There being no old business, is there any correspondence? Alright, no correspondence. Solicitor's report, no solicitor here. Did the solicitor present any report?
Not
We'll
that
talk
I'm
to
aware
him
of.
about having a little report here every time. Alright, no, then with that, is there any further business? Alright, with that, I'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for coming.